I am Leah Wagner. I am in the class of 2002 from Ligonier Valley High School. That was way back when we were the Mounties. I have a soft spot in my heart always for the coonskin cap and the moonshine jug. So I loved my time in high school, but I was ready to be done. And so I am happy and honored and humbled to be back here X amount of years later, talking to you on your graduation, which, like Bill said, is insane, right? Like, you guys have been through it, and I can't even put myself in your shoes thinking about the things that you've missed out on, the things that you have bonded over, the things that you will talk about for years to come. But I wanted to thank the parents and the community of Ligonier for showing up for you tonight. What a beautiful thing you're doing for these graduates, taking time out of your weekend to be here for them. And a huge, huge, huge thank you to the community of Bolivar. Bolivar, way to step up and offer this beautiful space for this graduating class. Congratulations to you. Thank you for doing that. I did some research. Once I found out that I was going to be speaking here, I did some research, and I was trying to figure out, I went to Google, and I was like, dear Google, how do I do a graduation speech that means something, love Leah? And Google was like, here's the things you do, and here's the things that you don't do. And so I started highlighting and printing, and I got so overwhelmed, and I got so anxious, and I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna put all of this aside and do it the way I used to do it, which is like with a notebook and a piece of paper and a pencil, right? And I wanted to share with you things that would be relevant to you, something that you would be able to take with you that would maybe not be the worst thing that you've heard, right? Which, by the way, is my only goal. I just want to be the not worst speaker you've ever heard. I don't need to be the best. I just don't want to be the worst. And if for some reason you think that I am the worst, as we leave here, I brought you presents, which are total bribes. So you can take one of these. I'll get to congratulate you as you walk across the stage, and I'm excited to do so. So I wanted to talk to you about three things, three ways of life. I have no notes up here. I have nothing to speak from, because these are three things that I feel passionately about. These are things that I feel deep in my gut that I have learned since high school. So you might think that you have a good grasp on what you're doing and where you're going and how you're feeling, and I hope that you do. And when you are my age, the ripe age of 36, maybe you'll be able to look back at these things and be like, she kind of knew what she was talking about. I mean, again, she wasn't the worst, right? That's what we're going with, okay? So whether you're going off to a 4-year university, whether you're going off to, get your associate's degree, the military, straight to the workforce, whatever you want to do, I want to talk about ways that you can live that would be beneficial to you and helpful to you, because I have done them myself, right? I am speaking to you from my heart. This is how I live. So I want to share these three things with you with the hopes that maybe you'll take something with you from it, and it will encourage you to continue on with your celebration for your graduation, okay? So three things we're going to talk about. Thing number one, not one person got out a notebook and pencil. It's like they're out of school already. Did you see that? Not one person got a notebook and pencil out. Thing number one on our outline, thing number one is living with intentional gratitude. And the intentional part is the most important part of that phrase, right? You know what gratitude is. You're graduates, right? You know what the term gratitude means. You know to say your pleases, you know to say your thank yous, you know to be gracious when things are given to you. But what I'm talking about is living a life with intentional gratitude, taking the time to go through your days and seek out gratitude that is going to help calm yourself, right? So many times we hear things like, when you get worked up, what do you hear? Go for a walk, count to 10, right? And my challenge for you is that when you get worked up, because you will, so many of you know, for so many different reasons, life is going to hit you hard. You can't escape it. There's no way to move away from it. There's no way to dodge the bullets. Life is going to hit you hard, as you already know. So what can you do when that happens? And my suggestion to you is finding intentional gratitude, taking time out of your day and being thankful for something. Just thankful for something. And it doesn't have to be something spectacular. I'm not talking about writing a thesis every single time you want to sit down and be thankful for something. And is this going to work all the time? Absolutely not. You're going to think to yourself, you know what, gratitude today, I'm going to tell you exactly where you can go. And that's totally fine. It's not going to work all the time. I'm talking about making a habit. I'm talking about cultivating something in your life that will ultimately adjust how you view the world and how you see things, that will ultimately make things better for you down the road. So my encouragement to you is to take time each day and be grateful. It doesn't have to be for crazy things or for crazy people. Just be grateful and seek out those opportunities and take time to intentionally think about them. Because once you do that, it is going to shape the way that you see the world and is going to be the way that you view the world and how you interact with people. So that's thing number one. I hope for you, I wish for you, a life of intentional gratitude. The second thing I want to talk to you about is kind of like one of those phrases that's like, you know those phrases that are like, shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. I think those phrases are so silly. But this kind of falls in the line of that, so if you want to roll your eyes, you can. This is one of my most favorite phrases, and I want to elaborate on it a little bit because it's so important, I think, as a way of life. When life treats you well, which it will, right? You know you're going to have hard days, but you're going to have beautiful days as well. And when life treats you well, and when your cup is overflowing, and when you feel like it can't get any better, my hope for you is that you choose to build a bigger table and not a higher fence. I hope you build a bigger table and not a higher fence. And what does that mean? This is a crazy world that we live in. And I think a lot of times we decide to shut ourselves out from the interactions and the relationships that we can possibly have with people because we're afraid of getting hurt. We're afraid of not being included. We're afraid of rejection. And I encourage you to be the table opener. When you have more than you are blessed, when you have more than what you deserve, I encourage you to be inclusive, to invite people to your table. Some people think when I talk about this that I'm talking about money. I'm talking about like, open your wallet and give to this organization or give to this organization. And that's not the case at all because I have no money and I still live by this philosophy because I know that I have a lot of forgiveness in my heart. I know I have a lot of compassion. I know that I can smile when I walk past people down the street and I have a plethora of those things. So I can share them, choosing to make my table bigger and not making my walls higher. Humans were made for relationships. Humans were made to connect with each other. And you get to go out into the world and be the connectors. You get to do that and expand your tables and be inclusive. That is what I hope for you. That is what will add essence and life to your days. That is what's going to get you the memories and the conversations and the stories to share with each other, is building the table and inviting people to sit instead of building a wall to block them out. So number one is living with a life of intentional gratitude. Number two is building a bigger table and not a higher fence. And the third thing, I don't know how you were raised. I don't know all of you. And there are some families who put so much emphasis on high academics and getting into the best college and doing the very best so you can make the most money. And that's great. We all want that for our kids. I want that for you because you're an extension of me, right? We all belong to the same school. We're a part of the same alumni. I didn't graduate with honors. I just graduated. So we belong to the same school. So you are a reflection of me. You're a reflection of our community. You're a reflection of Ligonier. So of course we want you to go out and do well. You work hard to do well. But by and large, what is more important than that, far more important than that, is going out into the world and doing good. To be a good person. Doing well and doing good are not the same things. Doing well for yourself is not equivalent to being good. And what the world needs right now, what the world desperately needs right now, are good people, kind people, the people who believe in love, the people who believe in acceptance and forgiveness and grace and kindness and welcoming and bigger tables. That's what the world needs right now. And you're going to go out and you're going to experience unkindness. You're going into the world and you're going to experience just awful, horrible things, because 2020 has been a crapshoot, right? It's just been awful. But you have the choice to do good things. You have the choice to do well, but you have the choice to be good. And my hope for you, because I'm not your parent, I'm just someone in your community who is rooting for you. I want you to do well, but I more so want you to go into the world and be good. So those are the three things that I try to live by. That's how I'm trying to raise my son. That's what I try to emphasize when I get to speak at these things. Intentional gratitude, building bigger tables and not a higher fence, and doing well, but more importantly, doing good. Those are the three things that I hope for you. And I want to start this intentional gratitude by doing this tonight. I want to take just like 30 seconds and give you a minute, well, not a minute because 30 seconds is half of a minute, give you half of a minute to think about the people in your life who affected you in a way to get you here. Not the people you should think about, right? Because there are I should think of my parents, I should think of my grandparents, I should think of my aunts and uncles and my brothers and my sisters, but maybe they weren't it for you. And that's okay. Someone was that person for you. So I want to give you 30 seconds to think about those people. I don't want to know your list, and I don't want you to share your list. If anybody comes up to you afterwards and says, was I on your list? There's no reason to answer them. This is for you. This is for you to take a minute and give gratitude for those people who got you here, because these kinds of accomplishments, what you're doing here, what you have done, you don't get here on your own. Someone had a hand in it for you, and I want you to give some gratitude to them right now. I'll watch the time. Those people that crossed your mind, their names and their relationships to you, I would put money down that they didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by just kind of haphazardly and lackadaisically being in your life. And I would venture to guess that they got there through building a bigger table for you and encouraging you to do good things. And the awesome thing is that now you get to go out into the world and be that person for someone else. You get to build a bigger table. You get to connect. And you get to do good things so that when someone else is in this situation and given the opportunity to give gratitude, that you are someone who crosses their mind. As somebody who is a member of your community and has been rooting for you, I am so proud of what you have accomplished, and I hope that you are too. This was a crazy, crazy year, and I am honored and I feel very fortunate to be able to celebrate with you. I am proud to be part of your community. Congratulations to you.